But Bob Marley was able to touch people's lives, not only in Jamaica when it comes to unifying the masses, but in other parts of the world too. So this film has a greater significance than just the mix-up or the rate arguments, or, you know, it's not just about Bob Marley's life. And it wasn't. You're welcome. I went to the cinema on my own for the first time. Can you tell what I was watching? Oh my God. I'm gonna do my review while it's fresh. While it's fresh in my brain. Going to find my car and do my review. So, I loved it. Where did I park? Initial response, I enjoyed it. I felt so proud. I felt so emotional. Listen, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. But maybe I'm easily pleased. But me, I enjoyed that film. Listen, I was so proud. I was so proud because Jamaica's history was happening right there in the cinema, big screen, full of English people. Well, the cinema was very quiet, mind you, because I went at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And on Saturday, I can imagine that on Wednesday, Thursday, it would have had more people. And tonight, there might be more people. Like, I went at a quiet time of the day. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did to the end. I got a little bit tired, like just before Bob and Rita went back to Jamaica. That part was very calm and quiet, and I got a bit like, wow, am I getting sleepy? But I enjoyed it. Jeez. You know what they were saying about more Jamaican people or whatever? Bob did that actor, he did a good job, very good job impersonation of Bob. And there were a lot of Jamaican actors, even people who I didn't know that they were actors or actresses. Lots and lots of familiar faces. Naomi Cowan was in there, and that looked like Naomi Cowan was playing Marcia Griffiths, I figure, because she was the light skin of the backup singers. And I swear that was Savannah as well as one of the other backup singers. If it wasn't Savannah, it was the Jamaican actress who was in another Jamaican film in England, but I believe it's Savannah. But I think it was really good. What I really liked at the beginning, where it gave some historical background of what was going on in Jamaica, but then it gave a good representation of Bob's parents, and it did touch on Bob's having a lot of women and stuff, because Rita cussed him about that. And then you could see this white woman in the background when Bob was on the phone to Rita when Rita was in America. It showed when Bob, it showed a lot of stuff, guys. Like, please go and watch One Love. I felt proud sitting in the cinema. There were times when I felt a little bit tearful. Maybe at the beginning, I thought I would have maybe felt some sort of emotional way to the end, but it wasn't at the end, because normally it's at the end of films, but it wasn't at the end for me. It was a bit I felt tearful when I was feeling proud and feeling emotional. Like, it wasn't really sad in some other ways. Let me see which part of it was I feeling like that. Maybe in the political stuff, but it was all really good, like the football, and I really enjoyed it. And that actor was a really good actor, and the storyline I was saying previously when I heard that it was boring or whatever, I was saying, well, maybe them should have did feature more of Cindy. Nah. Cindy wasn't in Bob's musical career. The world knows Bob for his music. And that is what it represented. Bob's life as a musician, where it started from, the people who were involved in his life as a musician, and the Jamaican musician, and the political war that was going on at the time, and what made him popular. Because when he came to England, after he got shot and he came to England and Rita went to America, he did lots of shows and it blew up. And when he went back to Jamaica, he was like a hero. So it was really good. It represented his life, his musical journey really well. And sort of from where it began, even with him and his mom and his dad that he didn't know or whatever. All those things is shown in the film. But I don't want to say too much, but there were familiar faces. Real Jamaican people in there talking them real patois. It was really well done. Really, really well done. And when I tried to book the ticket for me and Diana, it wouldn't let me book the child ticket. But there was gun violence. Maybe that's why. But on the screen, it said children under 12 has to be accompanied by an adult. So I think kids can see it. It was fun. I'm not going to lie. I sat there on my own feeling very proud to be a Jamaican and for everybody else to be seeing our history and thinking about how powerful Bob's songs, that's what I think got me emotional. I'm saying, my God, look, this Jamaican-born man touched so many people over the world that 2024 I'm sat in a cinema watching him in Odeon cinema, watching his life story with white English people sitting all around me because they know him too and he touched their lives and they would know all those songs. That is a great feat. It's an achievement. It is an achievement. Oh my days. Bob Marley's children, you have a legacy. Your dad left a legacy for you to be proud of. And people were saying the film was I don't know what you expected. Because as a Jamaican, I felt good. I felt good watching that. It represented Bob's life as a musician and how he touched the world. Maybe it could have shown more impact, but actually it did show the people reacted, because you could see, but maybe more personal opinions from people. But really, it showed Bob Marley's life, the main parts of his life. What they could do, I think, is probably make a sequel, actually. Small films, small series of Bob Marley's life, because I think there's so much that couldn't be shown. There must be so much more, because it made references to parts of his life that I felt was a bit empty and we could do with more explanation. For example, Don Taylor and when Bob Marley mashed him up because he might pocket the money, that was very vague. How did Bob Marley even find out what was going on there? Who's seen it know what I'm talking about? So there are little bits of things, I think, and some other bits with his life. This man is a legend, people. This man is an amazing Jamaican treasure. He is a Jamaican treasure. So I think we could have small films of Bob Marley. For real. Look, One Love. We could have a small series thing of Bob Marley's life to show more smaller segments of his life in more detail. So, for example, the girlfriends, the women, the deals, the relationships with him and some of the whalers. It was mentioned that Peter left and Bonnie, I think Bonnie and Peter, and something just more of those bits, because there's still people alive today who could tell their life story alongside Bob Marley. It could show more of his children and how what their relationship was like or not, because Bob Marley being who he was, did he really spend that much time with his children? Probably not. Where were they? What was happening? What was their experience of their dad being who he was like? More of Rita Marley. So a lot more in-depth. It could be stretched out, but it couldn't have been done in one film. And it can't now have a follow-up part 2 to show those bits, unless it's going to be shown like a flashback, because that film already showed his life as a musician from start to not quite up to where he died, but up to the political thing. So I think they could stretch it and make smaller segments of his life, and people would still watch it. I, for one, would be interested in it if it's done properly. Even people who didn't know the Bob Marley story would watch it. And Jamaicans like myself, people of Jamaican background, Jamaican heritage, we need to teach our children about Bob Marley, because Bob Marley has taught the world so much. Bob Marley's music is so good, so influential, so loving, so unifying. Bob Marley is a treasure. Bob Marley is a treasure because his film, it shows in the fact that his film, his life story, can be shown in cinemas. I'm not even in central London. I'm outside of London. And I went to watch Bob Marley's film in a local audience cinema, and there were other people there. The fact that Bob Marley can do this now in 2024, we have a legend. No other Caribbean island. You know how small Jamaica is? Do we realize how small Jamaica is and the massive impact that Jamaica has on the rest of the world? People from Jamaica has this massive impact on the rest of the world. We need to teach our children, because I keep saying this because I don't think I've taught my children nothing about Bob Marley. And when this film is available in households, I will show it to Diana and I'll explain, if like probably in the next year or whatever, and I will talk more about the history and what was going on, because it teaches not only Bob Marley's life but political elements of Jamaica as well, and of the world. And even now it's parliament time, politics time in Jamaica, and things haven't changed much. Things haven't changed much with the two rival gang leaders. Yes, they came together at that time, but there are so many gang leaders now, and they're divided because of political affiliation. And politics still plays such a big role even today in crime. But Bob Marley was able to touch people's lives, not only in Jamaica when it comes to unifying the masses, but in other parts of the world too. So this film has a greater significance than just the mix-up or the rate arguments, or it's not just about Bob Marley's life. And it didn't come across as a documentary. I see somebody said under someone else's review that, oh, you went to watch a documentary. It didn't come across as a documentary. It came across as biography film. So it's someone's life, not in detail from every inch of their life, but it's someone's life played out in real time. So it was like a film, but it's a real somebody's life. So it wasn't like a documentary, like, oh, and one day this is what he did and this is what was happening. It wasn't somebody else telling the story. It was real life happening in the form of a film. So amazing. Everybody should watch it. I enjoyed it, and I like what it represented and what it was teaching, and it can open up the way for people to go and learn more about Jamaica, about racism, about unifying people together. It showed it had elements of racial conflict. When Bob Marley came to London, things that happened in the film, which was true, and a lot of people today, it can open your eyes to what it was like back in those times. And even today, those things are still happening around the world. And Bob Marley's songs is still telling people, still singing about redemption songs, still singing about unifying people, still singing about, what's that majestical one? That one. Yes. Go and watch the film. It's good. Let your children watch it. Teach your children about Jamaican culture. Teach Rastafari. Teach your children about what, not to say to teach them about Rastafarianism, but what they represent or what they should represent, and what Bob was trying to portray through that. Because a lot of people sometimes claim to be of a particular religion and therefore a particular cause, but they don't really understand it. And we don't want to mislead our children at the same time. We don't want to tell them about, oh, Rastas are conscious people and Rastas are unifying and loving people. And Rastas, no, because Rastas are not perfect. We know this. And not every Rasta represents for what Rasta should represent. A lot of them are wayward, and we're not saying that Bob Marley was any saint either. He wasn't. But a lot of things that he represented, love and unity, was great. It's a great thing for everybody to try to be. And that's how it should be. But there were other things as well that he did that people wouldn't be proud of. And a lot of Rastas, don't do everything. Not everything they do people are proud of. But what they should represent is love. And the fact that Bob Marley, as a Rastafarian, could sing those songs and move people from then in political conflicts and in racial conflicts, moved them to unify from back then in 1970 something, and it's still having that effect today. So much so that you can watch it in the cinemas and you can feel like, yeah, we are all, when it's until one person can love another and see that, and him saying the puss and dog can come together or something like that. So he's trying to show that each person can love each other regardless of who we are or what we look like, like it's such a great concept. And I'm so happy that I went to watch it. And there are bits of it that is just wow. The writing where it's explaining things, because they couldn't put everything in it. So at the beginning they had some words on the screen to kind of summarize what was happening, and at the end they had some as well to summarize of what was happening. And although they depicted Bob Marley with someone who wasn't probably the ideal person, because yeah, he's taller than Bob was, yeah, he wasn't Jamaican, blah 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 blah, doesn't matter. He did a damn good job. And the actor who is actually, they did a good job making him even try to look like Bob, because he's got the nice smile, and the locks look damn real. Like, they did such a good job, because when I see that man, him full of grey hair, grey beard pan him face, grey hair pan him head, and they made him look young, well shape up, no grey hair on his face and all of this. So damn good job they did with making him look the way he did in the film. But what I appreciated was at the end, they put clips in to honor the actual Bob Marley. So there were clips of Bob Marley on stage doing his thing at the end of the film to pay homage to the right person. So I respected that a lot. Lovely film, enjoyed it thoroughly. Felt very proud, me alone in the cinema dressed like this. As I said, I'm not in a black area. Very little people live in this area, and the black people, them not gonna come out till late, because we don't go nowhere early really. I just did this off the cuff, like out of the blue. I'm just like, I'm gonna go and watch this. Okay, let's go at 4 o'clock because it's the best time. I'd probably find someone to keep Diana. So go and watch Bob. It was good. I spent 19 minutes talking about this. I just walked, as you see, I just walked out the cinema. Amazing. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Go and watch One Love for yourself. Appreciate the culture for yourself. Okay? One heart, one destiny. Rastafari. It was amazing. Thank you very much. Proud Jamaican, right here to see my Jamaica, my culture, my history on the big screen. Songs that everybody knows as a Jamaican and not a Jamaican. Everyone knows those songs. That was electrifying. I loved it. Maybe I'm easily pleased, but I love it. Pick up yourself.